I didn't feel like I was cool. I was like, whatever. I wasn't the tallest, I wasn't the fastest, I wasn't the cutest. I never smoked, I wasn't a bad kid. Anthony Santos, Toño Rosario, a bunch of Dominican music. Yeah, and merengues, y tienes sweet, y bailas all.
Time where you lacked motivation, and you were down in the dumps. What did you tell yourself to keep going, right? To keep yourself in belief?
Facade, it's all a facade. Your relationships are all a facade. You meet a girl, you don't know if she likes you for you, or if she likes you because of your knowledge.
What do you struggle with now?
Yo, what up, it's your boy Nawlage 2K5. I'm here with BASTIENDRIP, and this is my untold story.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thank you guys for all the support with all the recent interviews. I looked at the analytics and I noticed that 97% of the viewers are not subscribed. What that's gonna do is help me get bigger and better guests to provide better interviews for you guys. So hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and comment on the video down below. What's going on, guys? For the second episode of Untold Stories, we have none other than the one and only Nawlage 2K5.
What up, what up?
What's going on, brother?
Chillin', man. I didn't know it was called Untold Stories. That's Untold Story right there.
Untold Stories,
that's a cool name, I like it.
But let's get right into it. So, what can you tell the audience about your past that can shed light on who you are today?
I used to be skinny. I did cross country, I ran track, and I played basketball. And then I had a good time eating.
Now, bro, what can you tell us, right? Let's get a little deep. What can you tell us that can shed light?
Like, it's like a broad question. Like, what kind of light are you looking for? You want me to?
All right, so let's start.
You want me to go to early age, or music, or life like this?
Early life, right? Before you became Nawlage 2K5, when you were just, an average human being.
So I tell everybody this story. So I guess I'll start with this. My dad was a Marine, so everything about him was like very tactical. And when I was about, I want to say 4 or 5, he got me a BB gun and he put a scope on it. And I go to the backyard, he put a quarter about 10 yards away, maybe 15 yards away. And he goes and he shoots it. And he's like, all you got to do is put the line on what you want to hit, and you hit it. So I go, grab the BB gun, like, oh, this is easy, because I've been shooting my whole life. My dad's always been shooting. I go, poop, I miss. Do it again, I miss, but I didn't care. I was just kind of like, I missed, whoop-de-doo, who cares? So I was doing it like every weekend. I don't remember if it was summer or if I was doing it every weekend. So I got to a point one day where I went and I go and I missed, and I'm like, all right, what's going on here? Because my dad told me to tell him when I hit the quarter. So I walk up to the quarter, and you got a quarter right here, and you got a million BBs right here making a whole new quarter in the tree. And I'm like, okay. So if I aim here, I'll be able to hit the quarter. So I go back and I aim here, it got there. I aim here, got there, and then there was a mark on the tree. When I aimed at that mark, it hit the quarter. So I did it like 2-3 more times, because my dad was gonna be like, do it more than once. So I'm like, call my dad. I'm like, Dad, I got it. I can do it. Still got the quarter somewhere too. It's like it has like 5 BBs hits on it. And he was kind of like, man, you took too long. Like, it took me forever to realize that he had a scope on it, but he purposely adjusted it wrong. So yeah, I was following the rules of the scope. You put that, I don't know if you understand, when you want to shoot something, like if I want to shoot the camera, I'll literally put the middle of the plus sign on it and bing. But because he adjusted it, if I aimed that, it was aiming wrong. So at the age of 4, I learned attention to detail. I didn't realize that at the time yet. This is all stuff that I realized like now, and doing interviews the last like 5 years or 7 now that I'm older. That was one thing that was powerful, and it'll make sense why later. And then there was another one in 8th grade. He bought, back in the days, we used to have the little model cars that you take crazy glue and you build them, and you gotta paint them. He bought a motor like that. And this was crazy. It was literally a little plastic motor. You take everything out. It had the intake manifold, the distributor, the pistons, the cam, the crank, the push rods, the flywheel, the oil pan. Literally, it was a motor, and you glue it together, put a thing in, and you spin it, and you see everything moving. It was see-through. So in 8th grade, that was my science project.
Okay.
And he helped me do that. So I'm like, okay, this is interesting, whatever. And I ended up winning. I went to the Henry K. Oliver. I ended up winning the class thing and going like to the bigger one, but then I didn't win there, but whatever. So then the next year, freshman year in high school, I walk into the garage and there's a block. I don't know if you're familiar with car parts. The block is just a piece of metal. It's just in the garage. So my dad walks into me and he's like, hey, that's your car. And I look at the piece of metal and I look at my dad like, my dad is cooked, bro. He talking about my car. So whatever, I get mail like a week or two later, and it's a piston. It's a car part, literally, a piston. My mom's like, oh, you get mail? So my dad's like, getting all this mail. Then next week it's a cam. Then next week it's a crank. Now, the only reason why I know what this shit is, oh, can I even swear? My bad. The only reason why I know what this shit is because of the science project. So before you know it, fast forward, we have a whole motor in the garage that we built. And it's literally, we have like just the motor. Like the whole block would run down. I lived by Park and Lawrence Street on Trenton. The whole block would run down and be like, oh my God. It's just the motor there. So then my dad, by sophomore, junior year.
Wait, hold on. So the car was moving with just a motor?
No. We literally just had the motor on the floor. It's like we had a car motor right here.
Oh, shit.
And we started it. We built it and started it with the headers, like the garage was about to fall. I'm not making this up. I wish we had more footage.
Crazy.
Right? So everything's about to fall and everything, and it's crazy. So then by sophomore, junior year, my dad takes me to see about 20 cars. That he picked 20, made sure they weren't rusty and messed up, and then he let me pick the one I wanted. So I picked a 1968 AMC Javelin because I've never seen one of those. I've seen the Corvettes, I've seen the Super Sports, I've seen all them things. So boom, next thing you know, we buy that. Throw the motor on it. What color you want it? Blue. What kind of ring? Krager rims that you had on the Firebird. Oh, boom, 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 boom. Next thing you know, senior year, there's your graduation gift. A fucking muscle car. I still have it. It's in my dad's house still. He drives it around. It's like you see. I'll show you a picture later. Blue car. You see it around. That's the car I'm talking about.
We'll put it in the video. Don't worry about
it. Now fast forward. All this shit. My dad really. Well, I think I would like to do an interview with him one day. But I really think he wanted me to be a mechanic. But like I don't know, my soft hands. I ain't trying to do all that. But those two. There was a lot of other shit he did, but those two things were so powerful because it taught me two things. Number one, pay attention to details. Number two, preparation, planning, and patience can accomplish anything. He had the peace of mind when I was in 8th grade. Never mind, go back to 7th grade. When I was in 7th grade, he had a peace of mind to think, I'm going to get him this toy car and make that his science project. So he studies it. So by the time I'm building the car, he has interest in it because he knows what everything. He can say, yo, pass me the cam. Why do I know what that is? Because I was playing with the toy version of it. Exactly. And my dad wasn't rich. He worked at the post office. So what he showed me, that you can buy things piece by piece. So every week, $200 piece, $300 piece, $100 piece, $400 piece. In 4 or 5 years of doing that, that's a lot of money. And you built a car. So I took those two things, and whatever I was going to do in life, I was going to apply that, and it was going to work.
Okay, so, all right, to give these guys a little more background about who you were as an actual person. So let's go to 8th grade. What kind of child were you? What kind of kid were you in 8th grade?
So it's interesting. In 8th grade, I was like, I feel like I had three different versions of me.
In 8th grade?
Yes. I feel like from kindergarten through 8th grade, I felt like I was three different people. In school, I didn't feel like I was cool. I was like, whatever. I wasn't the tallest. I wasn't the fastest. I wasn't the cutest. I never smoked. I wasn't a bad kid, but I wasn't like an exceptional kid. So I kind of flew under the radar. But my dad would also go to the school and be like an assistant teacher sometimes. And then at home, I didn't see my dad much because he worked overnight at the post office. So he went to bed at 12. I'm sorry, he went to work at midnight. So by the time I got out of school, he's sleeping for work. So Monday through Friday, I didn't really see my dad that much. I see him Thursdays because it was his day off, but I was with my mom and my sister. So I developed like a lot of, to give you a story on that, I was around my mom and sister so much that I'll never forget this. I remember one day, my dad comes home from work and he's talking to me. He's like, what are you gonna do? And I go like this, I wanna eat ice cream. And he went, oh, why you put your hair like that? And I'm like, what? Mom and sister do that all the time. He's like, don't do that. And I'm like, oh, my bad. Okay. And it was just, I was that around my mom and my sister so much.
So you became flamboyant.
Yeah. So then my dad was kind of like giving me another side of life to the point that I feel like I got the best of both worlds. So I started understanding men, I started understanding women, but I started sympathizing for men and sympathizing for women. Mixed with everything else that he taught me, all those things is what I took to move forward with the music stuff. But then on weekends and in summer, bro, in my block, I was pretty lit because my dad we would build bikes. We'd have like 10 bikes. So if you want to ride bikes, yo, come on, yo, we got bikes for all y'all. And we'd all ride bikes around the city. I had a go-kart. So I would whip my little go-kart and stop traffic everywhere. I got pulled over by the cop one day and then we sold the go-kart because of that. And we traveled a lot, you know. I went to Florida a lot. We drove there. So I got to see a lot. School wasn't the best experiences for me, but school taught me about people and their habits and their tendencies.
Is music in your foresight at all?
Yes, I left that out. So my dad, again, it's all revolves around my dad. My dad had this huge, on weekends, right? He had this huge thing and he had a cassette player, a reel-to-reel, a turntable, an 8-track, big system, two 12-inch speakers, four 15-inch speakers. It's like, and on Saturdays, his day off, he's out there jamming. So I'm in bed and he's just jamming. You walk down, that's his thing. It's his day. He worked hard week of work. My dad's a routine kind of guy. So he was out there jamming Saturdays and we'd always wake up. If I woke up and didn't hear music in the morning on Saturdays, I would have felt like my dad died. I would have been like, where's dad? As much as it bothered me when I woke up, it also became like, it's Saturday. You know? So, you know, while he was at work and stuff, you know, sneaking around and playing with that was one thing. But a cool story was he bought me a karaoke. Well, him and my mom. Actually, I think my mom got it. I get a karaoke for Christmas one year. And...
Wait, how old are you at this time?
9, 8, 9.
Here's what I found.
8, 9, 10. I don't remember, but somewhere, it was young. Somewhere 8, 9, 10, 11-ish. And I took the karaoke machine. I went to the flea market on the weekend and I bought a 12-inch speaker from someone for like $20 that I saved up. I go home. My dad was a mechanic. My mom was a hair stylist, and we had like a little salon, but we also had a big toolbox of every tool you could think of. So I was able to take anything apart. I took that karaoke apart, took everything out. I don't even know how I knew how to do this shit. I broke my headphone cable and I hooked it up to the 12-inch speaker and I put the speaker under my bed. I put the stuff all back together, but it was still like hanging. I remember my dad comes in the room. He was so mad. You break everything. Don't touch my tools. And I was like disappointed, and so was he. So then later, I don't know if it was later that day or next week, I blast my music. Because the reason why I did that, I wanted to compete with my dad. My room's upstairs, but his music's so loud, I can't hear mine. So when I got my little speaker, now I'm like, look, boom, 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 boom. I'll never forget this. I don't even know if my dad remembers this. He walks up, and he's like, what's all the noise here? And he looks, and he's like, what is this? And I thought I was in trouble. I'm like, oh, I bought a speaker, and I made the karaoke louder because I want to be like you. I want to have a big speaker. Like, I want it to be loud. And he kind of got emotional and was like, keep breaking things. you know, like sorry, kind of like sorry, I just keep breaking, because you realize I'm not breaking things, I'm creating things. Yeah, I'm taking it apart, but I'm not taking it apart to break it. I'm experimenting. When he realized I was just trying to make it louder, it's like, okay, he got a reason for what he's doing. He's not just out here breaking stuff
So
for no
like,
reason.
as long as you have the intention, it's okay.
Yeah, and I think that's when he realized. I remember this moment. I don't know if he does, but for me it was a big moment, because I feel like that's when he realized, like, okay, he's doing something. Because in my opinion, I feel like he was a little disappointed with the whole me not really being a mechanic thing. You know, like if you want your son to be a baller or something, he's just not. I want to play volleyball, Dad. And you're kind of like, volleyball? Until you have a moment of realization. So that was that. I feel like that was that moment, and that was cool. Okay. But yeah, outside of school, I felt like I was cool. But in school, I just flew under the radar. That's who I feel like I was at that young age.
All right, so let's move on to freshman year or high school. Let's talk about high school in general.
It's cool.
Who are you? Right?
So
who is Nawlage in high school? Like, you know, you said you had the bus from 8th grade. You had the bikes. You had the carts, all that.
So
people, did that carry on to high school, or were you?
All right, so high school was interesting. Shout out to my sister Steph. I love you, because she's a big reason why. Like, if it weren't for her, I wouldn't even listen to hip hop and all this stuff, because I was a big Spanish artist. I was listening to Anthony Santos, Toño Rosario, a bunch of Dominican music. Yeah, and merengue, y tienes sweet, y bailas, I was all that stuff. And then when I would steal my sister's stuff, it was Puffy, Lauryn Hill, Bad Boys, Biggie, Tupac. It was, you know, Erykah Badu, all that shit. I'm like, what is this crap? Whatever, it's the only CD I got, and I'm just trying to use my CD player. So it came from her. So she graduated when I was, so she graduated, and then next year I was a freshman. And this was at Whittier. I went to Whittier, which also I think played a big role in why stuff worked, but I'll explain that later. And she still had friends that were like seniors now. And my sister, she was cool. She was into fashion. She knew more people and stuff. I'm still like this. I don't care about fashion and haircuts and looking all a certain way. So she was like, nah, we gotta do something. You're not gonna make me look crazy. And she takes my book bag and she puts Chinese letter, and she's like, we're gonna call you a Key. That's your nickname. So she put a Key. And I'm like, okay, cool, Key it is. She was dressing me for school for the first month and a half. And I'm telling you, when I went to school, I was looking fresh, bro. Like, I was looking cool, because it's like my sister, there's this girl that I was like in love with, Vanessa Aristi and stuff in high school. I even feel like she noticed me. She didn't notice me. She noticed my sister. You know what I'm saying? Like, my sister was dressing me so cool that I felt like, she's like, oh, okay. But when her and everybody else got to, I could be wrong. This is all my opinion. I feel like as time went by, you know, the truth comes out. I started being my weird stuff, you know, quiet, dressing whatever, not dressing cool anymore. You know, after a while, the hype from my sister kind of died down. You know, she wasn't dressing me anymore. She didn't really care as much anymore. And it was cool, because then I became like who I was gonna become, which was just I feel like I flew under the radar. I had a friend, Chad and Jose, and we would do our own little songs at home and stuff like that. And I was in auto body. And
okay, so you said you did songs. Is your music picking up?
No, this was no.
Are you in dancehall?
I was rapping. I was a rapper. I was
okay.
Freestyle battling. And
were you battling people?
So fast forward to what I started doing, right? It's a very interesting story. One of the reasons why I feel like everything worked out was because I went to Whittier. And shout out to Easy Money, Ed Rock. He went to school with my sister. He had told me a producer, and I say this all the time, a producer and a DJ is your best friend. So I made it a point to make sure that I knew producers and DJs, and I took care of them. They were going to be like this with me. Before that, I was still battle rapping in school and stuff, Senior year. This is fast forward to senior year. But outside of school, like the year before, I started chilling in Methuen High. Well, not Methuen High, but I knew mad Methuen High girls. And I would go to the Loop all the time. And I worked at the Loop. I used to work there. So my manager at the time, shout out to Rhonda, I would freestyle when we would have to, on Thursdays when we put the chickens, I'd be so bored that I'd just freestyle the whole time. So I could freestyle. And when they were battling, she'll be like, go clock out and go battle. Now go back to the gun detail thing. The detail of minor detail would have changed your whole life. I just presented details to battling. So if you got a stain on your shirt, I'm gonna talk about it. If you got a gap, I'm gonna be like, tell your girl to give me space like her friend's front teeth. Like this is basic shit like that. But because I'm freestyling it, when you look, if I say tell your girl to give me space like your man's front teeth, and you look at him and it's like, oh, that's a bro. That's what was happening. I had like one-liners. I couldn't even finish because it's like I just was paying attention to like the minorest details, like you know. So that like kind of started blowing up, and I remember one time I was battling this kid in school, and I said your style's like a girl's name, and then I said it blows. I don't even remember her boyfriend's name, but DJ Bless used to live down the street from me, and that nigga pulls up to her boyfriend pulls up to my dad's crib with like 30 niggas ready to kill me because I was young and ignorant. I wasn't thinking. I was just like rapping. I had no regards for other people's feelings and what I was saying. I didn't think like I'm disrespecting someone's girl. I'm disrespecting someone's sister, someone's cousin. And when he showed up, 30 people outside my door, ready to beat me up, and I'm just like, no, I'm good. He's like, I'll see you, bitch. I'm like, I guess so. He was a beatboxer. Shout out to him, man. But that was a big moment for me because I realized, like, all right, bro, what the fuck are you doing? You're not gangster. Chill the fuck out. Stay in your lane.
It was like a reality check.
Yeah, so I kind of got away from battling, and I'm like, well, who am I? I'm a lover boy. I'm kind of like Drake. I'm starting making a song about these girls and how I like her, how she broke up with me, and how that's fucked up. And that's because of him and that situation, which I want to thank him and shout out to him. It kind of like humbled me. It's like, yo, you're not that guy, so don't be out here talking about 414 dope.
Kind of like guided you into the right direction.
Yeah. I don't even know if Bless remembers that coming to because he lived like 3 houses over from me on Trenton. But yeah, so that's what kind of like pivoted me towards speaking about like women and stuff. So then I met DJ Heat. Well, no, so the timeline of all this is all screwed up. But around that time, I had met DJ Heat way before that, and he's a DJ. So I thought about what Easy Money said, and I'm like, I gotta be cool with this guy, because he's from Lawrence. And I was chilling at the Loop, Methuen High, and I went to Whittier. So I really didn't know people in Lawrence, but I grew up in Lawrence my whole life. And I kind of infiltrated his circle, which was a bunch of people that went to the Vogue. That's when I met Classic and Styles. And me and Styles really clicked, because Styles was just like, he was just hungry, and he's like super competitive, and he likes to win. So like, we clicked really quick and started working really well. And this all was happening in like 04. This was 04 through 05.
How old are you at this time?
I don't even know, bro. I'm trying to pull my age card. So at that time,
hold on, you're not gonna tell us.
No, you gotta figure it out. You gotta figure it out yourself. I'm gonna do a math for you. I'm gonna lie about my age for years. So at that time, I moved to Florida with my baby's mom and my daughter. But me and Styles had developed like a cool relationship. So while I was in Florida, my rap stuff was doing good still. I made a song called Distant Love about my best friend, how she lived here and I moved and I missed her. She's like my daughter's godmother and stuff. And that song started blowing up on MySpace. Because this was the first time that niggas had a girlfriend from fucking Cali. Because it's the first time you're online and you're meeting people everywhere. And that was cool. And that song started blowing up and I gained traction online. I had a manager and everything. He started getting me jazzy fake beats and my rap stuff started really taking off. I was unsigned. I was like top 10 unsigned. I was number 1 unsigned at one point on MySpace in the unsigned list. I don't know if you ever used MySpace. What's funny about MySpace, my sister made it. And I'm like, oh, I don't want that shit. I want to use it. That was an 05. She made my MySpace. I'm like, I ain't going to use that. Delete it. And I went to, I don't know where I went. This girl was like, I hit you up on MySpace and you ignored me. I went home. I'm like, can I get a login for my MySpace shit you made me? But yeah, so when I was in Florida, me and Styles, we did a lot of R&B mixtapes and hip-hop mixtapes. And I was just kind of rapping over dancehall beats. And like R&B beats, and that was like 07.
So all right, so let's stop there a little bit. How are you picking these beats, right? You say you're rapping, you're still in the rapper space. How are you picking these beats?
Styles would send it to me.
So Styles would he
so
make
like
the beat?
No. So it was remixes. Like for example, in 07 we did Kevin Little, She Sets My Heart on Fire, the Captain Luna song, Wind Up. These are all like, yo, they left 8 bars. And I knew I was an engineer, so I knew how to like loop shit. I did a Mamacita remix from Cardi B, and he even wrote back to me and was like, yo, this is fire, send it to me. We were literally just fine. If they left beat or if he had the instrumental, because you know how we used to go to the flea market and get these instrumental CDs. I don't know, well, back in the days, the instrumental CDs. And whatever songs were hot, he'd be like, yo, well, I didn't know. Styles was active with the music, so he'd be like, yo, this song's hot, remix it. And I would just rap. Whatever the topic was, I stayed on top of it.
So Styles kind of gave you the direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what it was, he was building a mixtape. And I was kind of like a yes man. I was so locked in with engineering and like I wanted to mix and like do stuff that if you would have hit me up and said, yo, can you do this for me? I was so excited to have to work on something that I have to mix to send it to you to see what you think about my mix. So I was like, oh, what do you think? He's like, yo, sounds fire. I'm like, yeah. For him, he's like, yeah. So I remember Auto-Tune comes out. This is around when T-Pain was hot. This was like late 05, early 06. And I call him and I'm like, yo, I got that Auto-Tune crap. And he's like, for real? You should sing. Now the reason why he said that is because he knows I freestyle. I used to freestyle. I could freestyle. We used to chill with girls and I would freestyle. They say words. I say their names. So he's like, bro, if you could freestyle rap, you could freestyle sing. And I'm like, I don't know. Because this is around the time where, the singing stuff is soft. And I was still kind of like in my mind, like, I want to be a rapper, bro. I don't know if I want to dive into the singing. So he sends me the Way You Grind beat. I like the way you grind, that song. And when I hear it,
classic. He
has this voice note somewhere. We gotta find it. It's not a voice note, it's MP3. He sent it to me, and what I did was I put the Auto-Tune on and I recorded, and I'm like, I literally went this. It's crazy. I was like, all right, hold on. Let me do an intro real quick. And he's like, make sure you say it's the Dancehall Reggae Volume 6. I'm like, all right, because that's the mixtape he was working on.
Exactly. Yeah,
so I'm like, yeah, And it's funny because at shows they'd be like, it's a Dancehall Reggae Volume 6. Everybody's crazy. And I'm like, hey, yo, ma. I mean, I'm feeling you so much. I'll have to sing for you on this one, Because I want people to know, like, I'm singing. I don't really sing, but I'm singing for you right now. And I told him at that time, I was like, yo, tell people that's your song. Don't tell them it's me. So at the end, it says DJ Styles, 2K5. But that was his MySpace. DJ Styles, 2K5. So I wasn't saying it like DJ Styles and 2K5. I was saying it because it's his MySpace.
Oh. Okay.
I wanted him to be like, yo, tell people that's your song. He's like, no doubt, I got you. And that's what he did. So Styles is smart, bro. He realized Lawrence was oversaturated. You know, you had the Jerras, you had all these people that were hot already. He couldn't get in anywhere. So he went to Lowell and went to Under Impact, a K Club. I was like, I'll DJ for anybody. I don't discriminate. He's out there killing it for them. And he called me one day. He's like, bro, he's doing Sweet 16 schools, everything. And he's still in high school, mind you, for all this. And he called me. He's like, yo, I can't do it anymore. I'm like, you can't do what? I can't tell people this is my song because they're asking me to sing it. I'm like, I'm not going to sing it, bro. I'm a rapper, bro. I'm not singing that song. So a couple of weeks go by and he calls me. He's like, yo, I need you to come perform. And I've heard that from so many people. I'm like, bro, I love you to death, but I'm not selling no tickets. I'm not, I'm all the way in Florida at the time, Clearwater, Florida. And he's like, no, I'm going to pay you. I'm going to pay for your flight and get you a hotel. So I'm like, shut up, bro. I'm getting ready to go to Fatburger to work and shit. And I'm like, shut up. And he's like, what's your PayPal? I sent him the email. Boop, I get $500. He's like, I need your name and your birthday. Boop, got the flight booked. Boop, hotel booked. I'm like, holy shit, this is real. So when that time came, I went. I did the show. I'll never forget this shit. I did the show and it was lit because like Kim Davis was there and then I had Bika come too because we had to Take Your Breath Away. And I honestly wanted him, I wanted someone else on stage with me because I was assuming it was going to be bad. I was like, I can't sing for shit. Like, I don't got auto-tune mic. Like, yo. But it didn't matter. They knew all the words. It wasn't a big spot, but still, as an artist, you're not used to people screaming your songs at the top of their lungs in a full, even a room of 30 people that you don't know. It's hard to do as an artist when you're starting off. And I was like, yo, this is crazy, bro. It was so lit. I didn't go back home. Really? I abandoned my girl. Shout out to Laura. I'm so sorry. I feel bad for her, bro. She bought me a dog. Her house burned down the next day. Like, God, she went through. Yo, I feel so. I'm sorry.
Shout out to Laura, man. We sorry.
Laura, yeah.
Laura.
I'm really sorry, bro. I'm still paying for that. I think about it all the time. Like that's crazy. but yeah, I didn't go back because like that weekend I probably made like fucking $4,000, and I've never made that much money. I have people coming up to me like, yo, come to my club, and I'm like, why? He's like, here's $500. I'm like, what's wrong with these people? Come to my club. I go to the club, and they'll be like, make some noise for Knowledge, and everybody's just like, and I'm like, you still gotta give me the other half, or I'm still keeping this money, bro. He's like, nah, don't worry about it, I got you, and he'll go to the DJ, play the song, and when they played the song, they would freak out.
Everybody went crazy.
So everybody knew. Way to grind. They knew the songs, they just didn't know me or my name or what I look like. So when that happened, I did so many features and so many shows in like a 7-day span that I was like, I'm not going back to Florida. I'm working at Fatburger. It's just working out here, bro.
It's motion.
So I stayed with my dad, and at that time, my mom had left my dad, so he was alone in our house that we grew up in. So I was like, yeah, this all works out or whatnot. But yeah, and then I skipped the part where when Styles sent me the Husband and Wife beat. Husband and Wife was the third dancehall song I did. First one was Way You Grind, second one was Try to Tell You, and then Husband and Wife.
And you'd say that's your biggest song, right? To date?
Well, it depends what we're talking about.
Numbers,
I would
streams.
I would say yes. I would say that's probably the biggest one. But there's also like By Your Side did good just in New York. Since You Cheated had 8 million before it got taken down on YouTube by whoever. So a lot of them did good, but yeah, that one's probably the most recognized. But when he sent me that beat, I literally freestyled. Again, I freestyled, and I'm like, oh, this stuff is easy. I was like, maybe so. I don't even know how it starts, but whatever. She don't want to wind up. The man who goes by, she don't. And I just realized, and by the time I got to the end, I was like, damn, I need a plot twist. And that's when I threw in the whole lesbian stuff because I realized, like, yo, that stuff would work. And at that point, I thought about Easy Money, and when he was like floating in my head, like a producer's your best friend. So Styles had sent me that beat because he got it from a beat pack of Vinyl Shots, the remix specialist. Shout out to him. He made that beat with an acapella, and put it out and sent it to DJs. And I was like, I need to find this guy. So I hit him up, and I found him. I'm thinking about Rock, producer's your best friend. And I hit him up, and I'm like, yo, what's up with this beat? And he's like, yo, can we make this my official song? He's like, yeah. He sent me the stems, and I'm like, word. And I told him, I promise you, because he lives in Germany. I promise you, I'll bring you to America one day, bro. And I did. 10 years later, we did bring him to America. Yeah, we had a great time when he came for 2 weeks. But yeah, that song was clutch.
It was monumental. That was your biggest song.
Hey, that's crazy. I didn't even like it.
You didn't like the song?
I almost deleted it.
Why?
I just didn't like it. My roommate, I don't know, black man. I haven't seen him in Florida. Black, I haven't seen him since then. But he worked at a restaurant, and while I was doing rap stuff, he watched me literally make a song in 10, 20 minutes and then delete it. I could do better. So he kind of felt, before he went to work, he felt the vibe that I was like, I don't know, man. It's just kind of slow and cheesy. So before he goes to work, he knocks on the door. He's like, yo! I'm like, what's up? He's like, we gotta talk. I'm like, what's up? He's like, I'm going to work. If you delete that song, he said it with mad, he's not even a hood dude like that. He's like a nice friend. He's like, if you delete that song, bro, I'm seriously gonna be pissed the fuck off. I need to hear that when I get out of work. He left. And he was right. Because I was so irritated with that song at one point. It just felt boring and slow. And I was going to delete it and start either on a whole new beat or do a whole new song. And I kept it because of him. I was like, whatever, maybe this dude's right. Let me just send this shit to Styles. I sent it to Styles, and he's like, yo, you're officially a dancehall artist. I'm like, what?
So, okay. So many people try to get, so many people are trying to break into the industry right now. What do you think separated you from everybody else? If you were to give advice to somebody who's coming up right now, who wants to make it, whether it's dancehall, rap, Spanish music, what do you think the recipe is for creating hits?
Well, there's so many layers to it that it's kind of tough to answer that question. But I can see a lot of things that people do wrong.
Your best advice. All right, so let me give you another question, right? If you were to give advice to the viewers that are watching right now, there's a lot of individuals within the city and outside the city that want to grow as an artist. What would you tell them, right? If in 2023 you want to make it as an artist, what would be your recipe?
The first thing I would tell people is you gotta believe. That's one thing that I feel like a lot of people don't do is believe. If you're not crazy enough to believe something, no one else is gonna believe it. And the other thing I tell people is be realistic. A lot of people are not realistic. I was very, very realistic with myself. So when I made a song and Styles liked it, and then some girl that he was chilling with liked it, and I only had 2 views, I understood that I can get 4 more views. And then in a week, when I only had 20 views, I understood that 20 can turn into 100. I didn't give up on it because, I only got 100. I need to make another song. I understood that it's a long game. A lot of people just want the quick. It's a long game, man. It's a long game. So a lot of records are out for 5 years before it pops on big radio. So just don't put so much pressure on yourself to be it right away. It's we don't get to see with basketball and with any sports and musicians, we don't get to see the journey that they go through before it actually works. You think about an NBA player, all we see, if you follow college, you see them in college, but all you see them is the NBA. Boom, that's it. Nah, bro. There's AA games, there's practices, there's training, there's a combine, there's this, there's a test, there's a meeting, there's that, there's this, there's that, there's this, that. and then what we see. So yeah, just
You see the fruits, but you don't see the labor. That's what it is.
It's a lot of work,
right? And what I realized with individuals, not only in the city but outside, they try to skip that part, right? Everybody wants to go straight to the fruit without getting to the labor, but the labor is what builds you up to get to the fruit.
That's the biggest thing when I'm working with someone one-on-one, they want to skip a lot of the stuff I did, and then they come back to me like, "Yo, that didn't work." I'm like, of course it didn't work. You only did one of the 25 things I told you to do, bro. It's like, so yeah, man, you got to believe in yourself, but you also got to put the work in and understand that it's going to take time, but eventually, if you're doing the right things, you'll see the growth.
Okay. Was there a time where you lacked motivation? And you lacked motivation, you were down in the dumps. What did you tell yourself to keep going, right? To keep yourself in belief? That's
a very good question, right? First off, and several times. Not really when I was like younger, but I would say like later on, like after I had the song with Rick Ross and the A song. At those times, there was a lot of moments where it's like, what am I doing, bro? I don't even want to do this, and it's like, and to be honest with you, I don't even know what kept me going. I don't. It was almost like I was like a machine, and it just whatever.
On autopilot.
I was cruise control. I was on a hill. I had climbed up so high that I was still cruising down the hill, just cruising. But the lack of motivation, that's a real thing. But one thing I will tell people is you got to surround yourself around people that uplift you, people that inspire you, people that you get along with. Like, you take Drake, for example. He was chilling with the whole Young Money camp. And as he progressed and got on, you noticed he went back to Canada with his people, with his core people. Not to say he don't mess with the Young Money people, but he went back to his
tribe,
engineer, his boy. The people that make you feel like, yeah, I'm at home. So surrounding yourself with those people, but you got to be real with yourself. Because if you're not real with yourself and you continue to surround yourself with someone that doesn't inspire you, then you're not going to be inspired. So yeah, I would say surround yourself with people that really inspire you and you feel, want the best for you. But sometimes that also means someone that irritates you. Because there are a lot of people that care about me, and I know they do, and they irritate the hell out of me, but they're right. They're right with the stuff they're trying to critique me with. And it takes a lot to admit that, because you would ask me 70 years ago, I wouldn't admit that they were right about some of the things. But that's just human nature.
Okay. And for all the people that are watching this show, this is my favorite question to ask. And the question is, what was your greatest failure, right? I love giving... I'm not done yet. Hold on. I love this question because this question gives the most value to the listeners that are watching. The question is, what was your greatest failure? And when I say what was your greatest failure, it's not what was your biggest L as in loss, it's what was your biggest L as in lesson. So what was the greatest failure?
Yeah, I understand what you mean, because one thing I always tell people is that Jay-Z line, a loss ain't a loss, it's a lesson. So appreciate the pain, it's a blessing. I can't even think of the biggest one. There was just so many. I would say one big one was, like I told you, the whole battle thing, where I said the girls being kind of disrespectful, the girl's name, and all these people showing up to beat me up. I learned a lot from that situation. Also, when I did the song with Rick Ross, I learned a lot, because I feel like when we did that song, I tried to make a Rick Ross song.
You weren't being yourself. You weren't being authentic.
Yeah, this was 2008 when it was Teflon Don, Rick Ross. I think I'm Big Meech. So I was trying to make a...
You're trying
I
to
think
match
I'm Big Meech. It's like, it's not knowledge. Like, so people were like, yo, that's fire. You got a song with Rick Ross. Now, can you play Where You Grind? Yo, that's cool. But can you play Husband and Wife? I'm like, okay.
So your audience was going back to your authentic self.
Yeah, they're like, yo, that's cool, but we like you for this. It's like, it was like a cool thing that you did that, but so it was like, damn. I was messed up, man.
Okay, so you'd say that one of your greatest failures was trying to match the energy of the artist that you were working with.
And what's crazy is that, again, I go back to Easy Money. I did a song with Easy Money, Ed Rock, back in the days, and yo, his verse was so fire. Like he said such things that like you gotta think to get it. Mm-hmm. That I was like, alright, bro, I'm gonna book another session. I gotta redo my verse. And he was like, why? He's like, be yourself, bro, because he knew I was gonna try to write some stuff and sound more like him. He's like, yo, be you, bro. You're you for a reason. And I forgot. At this point, I didn't even think about that because I was thinking like, oh, okay, I can make a song like that. I'll send Rick Ross a song like that. He'll like that. When in reality, we should have just threw him on 21 Plus or something like, huh. It's like, yeah, that would have been perfect, and that was like Teflon Don times too. Which who knows what would have happened if we introduced him to dancehall before we did it with French. So when the time came around, one thing that I said to myself, if and or when we get another big feature, I'm 100% putting him on a dancehall song. Matter of fact, I'm not even gonna waste time. We're gonna put him on a song that's already hot, so we don't gotta worry about it.
Exactly.
And then, that's why we did Husband and Wife.
Okay. So what do you struggle with now, right? You went through all these trials and tribulations coming up. You're still touring from 10 plus years ago. What do you struggle with now? On a day-to-day, society, music?
I struggle with a few things. Like, so the last 10 years when I was in Florida, I really tried to get someone further than I got. Like, I try to help people do more than what I did. And the more I did that, I started realizing that what we did and how we were doing it was special because it's like, I can't get anybody else to, like, understand the importance of relationship, understand the importance of marketing, understand the importance of making enough songs. Like, so many different things that I'm like, man, like, I struggle to really get someone to where I got because I feel like I kind of cheated the game, if you will, because I didn't really want to be an artist. People hate when I say that, but it's the truth. I didn't aspire to be a rapper. I got a lot of friends that aspired to be a rapper. That's what they wanted to do. I wanted to be a dentist, a carpenter, or a racer, like a race car driver. Those are the things that I aspired to do, not necessarily music. So I struggled with that, and I would always say, oh, I don't care about music. I don't care about music. I do care about music, but not on an artist level, just like on just music in general. But yeah, I struggled with that. I struggled with mental health a lot, like we all do. Music was very, music industry is a tough industry. Like it's there's a lot of mental battles you go through, from trying to be cool, from fake people supporting you, from people hating everything you do. There's so many different emotions that you gotta like sit here and withstand, to your own friends getting mad, to people giving you advice, to you not being good enough to other people. It's like there's so many things that you have to like shoulder the load on. It's not as easy as people think it is. And yeah, I struggle with it a lot, like every other human. I struggle with my weight, of course. Well, I don't struggle with it. Everybody else does when they look at me, but I enjoy myself when I eat. But nah, I will get to the gym one day. Gym subs.
All right, so let's get the conversation over towards the support, the envy, the hate, the jealousy. Coming up around that time frame as well, Husband or Wife was out, Ella was out, Mamacita, all that. Who did you surround yourself around? And was there a lot of hate? Like, did you lose friends because of your path?
Yeah, you gain and lose friends like every day. The same people just in and out, in and out. It's even family members would get mad sometimes. One of my cousins dissed me. And my sister, my other cousin was like, don't listen to him, he's young and dumb. I always joke with him, we're cool, we tight, shout out to Gio. And I always be like, nigga, you dissed me. He's like, shut up, that didn't happen. But it was like, he dissed me from a place of like, yo, you my big cousin, you on and you ain't put me on. But it's like, I can't do anything for you at the time. Yeah, my music's everywhere, but I didn't have a pot to piss in. I ain't got no money. It seemed like I had money, but I didn't. It's like people think that it's a facade. It's all a facade. Your relationships are all a facade. You meet a girl, you don't know if she likes you for you or if she likes you because your knowledge. It's like, it's tough, man. Honestly, it's tough. And I feel like at one point I was surrounded with people I wanted to be surrounded with. Then at another point I was surrounded with people that I didn't really want to be surrounded with. So it's like, it was always a balancing act.
How did you filter out the people you didn't want to be around?
You just kind of deal with it. I just kind of dealt with it. I just kind of just try to make the best of what I had, pretty much. Or focus on the positives, because a lot of good things came from some of those people that I didn't necessarily want to be around.
Okay. If you could change one thing about your past, right? About that time frame, that time period, what would it be?
There's only two things that I would change. I would have sold merch, because that would have made me a lot of money, and Rick Ross would have been on a Dancehall song. We would have presented him a Dancehall. That's the only thing that would have changed. Aside from that, it's like, I'm happy with how things turned out. I accomplished way more than I anticipated to accomplish. I influenced a lot more than I anticipated to accomplish. I didn't even have bars set, really. I wasn't like, yeah, I'm going to try to do this. I was like, I'm just going to do.
You just kept working.
Yeah, just
kept yourself busy.
I wasn't even thinking about numbers. I wasn't thinking about followers. That's another thing I tell people. I don't care about numbers, bro. People would laugh at me sometimes like, oh, you only got like 5,000 followers. I'm like, yeah, that's nice. Well, each one of these people play my song 5 times each. I got way more streams than you. So it's like some people are like, oh, they're like so caught up on the numbers that they don't realize your core fans are everything. If you got 100 solid people that support you, that's good. That goes a long way.
I agree, and it's amazing that you said that, because a lot of artists, a lot of people that are coming up in whatever field they're in, they're so caught up in that facade of numbers and I need to get 30,000, 40,000, but they don't have anybody who's actually real, right? They don't have anybody who actually supports them for them. Once you find out you have a core fans, they're gonna follow you in whatever avenue you go to, right?
Yeah. And they fight for you. They argue for you.
They fight for you. They argue. Like, look
everything,
at
bro.
Beyonce got the Beehive.
Yeah, Beehive, Justin Bieber. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of them. Those people, those are your core fans. Like,
it's like a cult-like
someone
audience.
Disrespects you, you don't gotta say anything. Like,
they're there for you.
Yeah, that's.
But that comes with being authentic, right? You can't get there unless you become authentic. You can't get a real fan base until you're your real self. So, okay, let's shift the conversation a little bit over to your features and the numbers. Yeah, I know we were just talking about how numbers don't matter, but let's talk about it a little bit. Features, the numbers, and things of that nature. So let's go to husband and wife first, or where do you want to start?
I don't care.
Let's go to husband and wife first, right? That's arguably your biggest song. You got, who was on that, French?
Yeah, he's on the remix.
French was on the remix, yep. So you already told us the story about how it came about, but how did you get French Montana on the remix?
Shout out to Walker. Walker, like, this is his brand. He, after we done the Rick Ross stuff, my management at the time, we told them, like, yo, we need to get an artist. He's like, oh, I can get French. We're like, okay. He was at the point where he's coming up, he's making noise, but he's not so hot that, like, he's going to be like, I want 500,000. I was like, okay, yeah, he's like, make it happen. So Walker did what he does, and he got a hold of him. He's like, yo, come to New York. We'll make it happen. Bring this much money, and we'll go to Puffy's studio. That's literally what happened. We went to Puffy's studio. Man, we sat there for hours. He must have did like 10 features that day. Chinks Drug was there. R.I.P.
Wow, R.I.P, man.
And we was just chilling, waiting. Finally, we go in. Gabi was his manager at the time. He manages J.I. now. He's like, yo, we're just letting y'all know we're not doing videos. So if you want to do the video, don't even do the feature. And we're like, okay, cool, no doubt. That's fine. Let's do the song. Throw the song on. Boom, boom, boom. The speakers are huge, man. It's mad loud. there was some girls there. They started dancing. I feel like they were listening to trap all day. That it was like a breath of fresh air. Hearing that. And then someone starts singing the song, and they're like, oh, you know this song? And he asked me, yo, is this song out? I'm like, yeah, it got like millions of views already. And he's like, oh, it kind of looks like Gabi. And then, I don't know, they started talking to my manager, and somehow I was like, okay, we're going to do the video now. And French did the first verse, then he walks out. I purposely left a space in the beginning and a space at the end because I was like, I'm putting two, I'm going to make him do two verses. When he came out, I'm like, all right, now fill in the other half. There's another part where you go. He looked at Gabi. Gabi gave him the okay. And they did it. And I remember I literally told French, I'm like, yo, dancehall's big, bro. Like, you need to take a big artist and do your thing, bro. Like make a fucking hot record and do what you do with it. So then there's an interview with him and Tim Westwood. And I think they had Movado. There was a rumor Rihanna was supposed to get on it too, but I know Movado supposedly had done a verse for it. I think they were trying to take me off or buy the song or something. It was supposed to be his single, but somehow we didn't agree to whatever. So he ended up doing Freaks with Nicki Minaj, and that ended up being one of the singles for his album, excuse my French. But if you watch Tim Westwood tells him, you got a big record on Cook Boys 3. And he plays husband and wife, big record.
That's crazy.
And he's asking him about the record. So what happened with these girls? And you can see French kind of trying to explain the story, but like yeah, told Gabi, pay attention, that needs to be the single, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I was supposed to be there for that, but I couldn't be there.
Okay, so after that, what opportunities presented itself, right? You did that, you got that feature with French. You're essentially you're popping, right? You posted it everywhere, or I don't know how social media was at the time, but you're with French. What opportunities presented itself after that?
So for me, because that was like 2011. For me, honestly, for me, nothing changed.
Really?
That's just how I feel.
Okay.
Maybe for management or other people, they can think otherwise. But for me personally, nothing changed. The only thing that changed was the people that listened to Coke Boys 3 that didn't know Knowledge were now like, oh, French did a dancehall, so, you know. But honestly, for me, nothing changed. Even when I perform it now, like, I have to do the version without French because it gets more love. Like, that's just my personal thing. So for me, nothing changed. Aside from meeting him, having the song, I didn't notice the change until later. When I moved to Florida in 2013 and I kind of stopped doing music and I was trying to work on me and my mental health and make money and figure out what I'm going to do in my life, that's when things changed. I started realizing, like, because French started coming up and doing more stuff, and that's when, like, that I was able to use that in Florida and kind of, well, what do you got? Oh, you got a song with French? Yeah, that's dope. It's like, you know, that made selling beats easier, giving artists advice easier. It was more respectable for someone in Florida. Because think about Florida, they don't really listen to dancehall. But they knew who French was. I'm not saying that they love him like they love some other artists, but they knew who he was. He had enough songs with Drake and stuff where they'd be like, oh, you got a song with French? Okay, cool, I'm all ears. So I seen that change, but that was like 3 years later, 4 years. But immediately to me, honestly, nothing changed because me and Styles, in my opinion, built the foundation like solid. And then what we were doing, because we were moving, this is what I love about Styles. We didn't talk for like 8 years, and it's like when we finally linked up recently, nothing changed. He kept doing his thing, I kept doing my thing. We don't hold anything personal. He don't get mad at me and be like, oh, well, you didn't hit me up or you didn't do this, because he's his own person. Like, he don't need me, I don't need him, but we understand that together we can do more.
Oh, yeah.
But we don't hold stuff against each other. Some people like, oh, you haven't hit me up. I was like, well, you haven't hit me up either. Like, it's a two-way street. But yeah, so the French thing was it was cool, but like for me personally, it came later, where it helped me and stuff. Like now, even today, it still helps me and stuff.
Okay, so what I realized is not only did you make it, you know, far and big in the industry, but you also brought people up with you. Truly Young, Picalicious, obviously DJ Styles. How did it feel to make it to a level as to where you could help people along the way? How did that make you feel as a person?
So originally, what I was trying to do was I wanted to like, I don't know who came up with the 978 dancehall phrase. Mm-hmm. Someone said that somewhere and it became a thing on YouTube. I wanted to create something that was as big as like the Bronx with hip hop or West Coast or down south, but with like people from here. But when I started working with the C Sharps and the Picas and the things, just certain things didn't align with some personalities, with some work ethic things, with some stuff. So I kind of felt like, okay, this isn't gonna work the way I anticipated it to work. But I got these songs with these people, and I still push them songs, and do what it does with it and whatnot. But yeah, no, it feels cool. It was easy. It wasn't hard. I initially knew like I want to work with some of the most talented people out here because they can teach me things and I can teach them things, and that's how you grow essentially. Mm-hmm. Like when I met C Sharp, he's the one that taught me that auto-tune has every song has a key. Mm-hmm. I was literally just hitting buttons and talking into the mic until it sounded good. I'm like, oh, it sounds good, it's D flat. And he'll be like, no, it's A sharp. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, how the hell you know? He's like, because I play piano. I'm like, no, that's wrong. It's D sharp and I have to turn the set high and do this and do that. He's like, it works, but you're not doing it right. So he's the one that he taught me like, how to do that stuff right. Pika always, what I liked about Pika is we work really well. He would use beats that I will never use. Mm-hmm. Like Take Your Breath Away, mm-hmm. I would have never used that beat. Mm-hmm. Simple, I would have never used that beat. They're like these beats that I'm like, I'll never use that, but let's do this. I don't say no, I can get on anything. Mm-hmm. So I like that, about him, that's like kind of like, okay, I'll get on that beat, even though I don't like it. And then I end up liking it after I do what I do. Truly Young, he's another one. He makes, he picks good beats as well and stuff. Yeah, no, it's cool. There's a lot of talent out here. And I wish that people would work together more and work better, because I feel like and I don't want to say we missed the ball, because there's still a chance to do it with different genres and the up and coming kids. But like, we got a chance to there's a lot of talent in this area. If you take the artist, the cameraman, the video guy, the marketing, the management, people like yourself who do interviews and give people a platform, and we work together, this shit really can become as big as I don't know if you watched the Grammys the other day. They did the 50-year tribute of hip hop, and that was really centered around New York. But there was so much stuff. Anybody got the power to do that. So yeah, I see up there it says do your part to change the world, and it's the smallest thing that you do for your group or your clique, it really can amount to so much. It's like for example, I think about the French thing. I'm not saying that it was because of me, or I'm not taking credit or anything, but I literally just said, bro, dancehall's popping, especially in New York. You should throw an artist on a song and take this shit across seas. Think about Unforgettable. That's literally what he did. Now, I don't know, if we don't do Husband and Wife, if that song even exists. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But I definitely know that it's in the same realm of the little thing that I did and said influenced so much, because that thing went gold and all this. It's arguably his biggest record. How many mouths got fed off of that? And that all came from one little thing that I said and did. So I think the sky's the limit, and people just gotta work together, man. It's just tough.
But it's the egos, right? That's why we have the podcast to shed light. That's what we need to get rid of. There's individuals who amass so much more than the majority, and they're still humble. So why are there individuals here that haven't amounted to shit, but they're talented, right? They're talented. Haven't amounted to shit, but they think they're at a different level. The minute you let the ego get in the way of your creativity, your craft, that's exactly the time where you lose. You got to keep that humble nature, that humble, hungry nature from when you started in order to get to that next level. And that's what the people who are at the next level do. And they remain humble. That's how they remain humble, because they know, like, I need to keep climbing because there's people that are ahead of me. No matter how high you get, there's always somebody who's freaking better than you. Always.
Always, bro.
You could think, you think you could be 50 Cent, there's a Jay-Z. You could be Jay-Z, there's Elon Musk. You could be Elon, there's always somebody better, always somebody bigger, always somebody doing more, making more money. So that's what you guys got to keep in mind. You got to keep working. Every day is a hustle. Keep your calendar full. You got to keep working, because at the end of the day, if you're not working, somebody else is. And dreams don't chase themselves. And if the dream that you put out there for yourself, somebody else is working on the same dream. And do you want to be outworked by the next person? I doubt you do. Okay, so Cardi B. I want to talk about that a little bit. I did a little bit of research. I was stalking your page, bro. She follows you. That's crazy. And I also seen
Hennessy. Shout out Hennessy.
I also seen that she reposts you from time to time as well. How did that happen? Did she just repost you one day and then you reached out, or did you actually meet her in person?
No, well, I met her in person a few times. I met her at one of her clubs when she danced. But I did 2 music videos with her.
Really?
I did a song called Daisy with Mula. I forget his name. My bad, bro. But he did a song, and she was like my video girl. And she was like, I guess she was a supporter of Nawlage at the time. She's from the Bronx. You know, we gave out a lot of CDs out there. We gave out a lot of CDs in the Bronx. And she's just always been like a supporter. So when she got on, and she's cool as hell. She's so humble. And that's why I get mad when people be talking crap about her, because she's all about like her family and taking care of hers and her people and stuff like that. So I thought it was cool that when she got on, the first one I seen was she's getting dressed. She was in Toronto, I think. She's getting dressed and she playing husband and wife. She's like, I used to dance probably to your man, back to this in '08 with your man, or some crazy stuff like that. And then like at her baby shower, you know, you start seeing all these parties, and it's cool, man. It just shows like we were part of their childhood, and they grew up, you know, listening to what we was listening to out here. And it's funny because my sister, so like I said, when I kind of stopped doing everything in 2013, I kind of wanted to erase Nawlage, if I'm being honest. So I left my page, no posts. I left it private. And when Cardi had posted like the second and third time, my sister's like, how come she hasn't followed you yet? And I was like, I don't know. She don't gotta follow me. I'm just happy she's even posting this stuff. So then I'm in my room and I'm like, well, what if she did follow me? I scroll. I have like 4,000 unaccepted requests. Mm-hmm. And there is Cardi B. I'm like, oh,
that's
man.
Crazy.
You know? I'm like, damn, I missed the request. Like,
that's crazy.
Because I wasn't on top. I don't even have my notifications on. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, damn, I missed the actual moment. But it was cool. And then her sister, I think her sister followed me like 8 months ago. She like shared a song and I reshared it. And she's like, oh, no doubt your music's legendary, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, they're from the Bronx, bro. They grew up listening. We gave out a lot of CDs.
So is a feature in the near sight in your future? I
mean, that would be cool. I'm not gonna say it is. I'm not gonna say it isn't. But it would be cool. It would be cool. I know she really likes Since We Met, and she wants to get married to that song. So I don't know if Offset wants to surprise her and I can lose a few pounds. I'll go sing Since We Met live.
Okay. What was your favorite feature? Favorite feature. If you could think back all time.
Like that I'm on?
You're on, you made the song, or you're on somebody's song. What would be your favorite of all time?
It's probably going to be a rap song. If we're talking about that I like. But if we're talking dancehall.
Dancehall.
I absolutely love Since We Met. Since We Met and By Your Side. But Since We Met is like, that's one of my favorite songs.
Who's the feature?
Well, it's my song, but Willie's on it. It's Kid Wiesel. Oh, you mean feature like I'm the guest on it?
You're the guest or you have a
Oh,
guest?
okay, hold on. Oh, or I have a guest. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, I would say since we met. I just love that. YZL's on it. I put him on. Yeah, and BSM made the beat. But yeah, that I love that song. I don't know why. It just
Does it give you memories of the past? What was it about?
well, yeah. It was about this girl that I liked since I met her. I always thought she was pretty, and she always had a boyfriend or was dating someone or something. Or one of my friends would like her or something. So it like never panned out. But I don't know. It's just that song just makes me feel good. It's a combination of the beat, the time when I recorded it. I can remember when I recorded it and how happy I was at that time. There's just so many layers to it that when I hear it, I'm like, yeah. And I'm not. Oh no, that's a solo song. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
no, yeah. So that has to be my favorite one.
Okay, so let's pivot to what you're doing now, right? You're dropping music steady. You're doing shows, like you sold out like Atika. Basically every show I've seen has been sold out. What's in your foresight now? Like what's your plans going forward?
So I didn't even want to do music anymore, to be honest. But I found myself like I did one show and then someone else wanted to book me and I did another one. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna do shows for the whole year. So then I did shows for the whole year. That was last year. And now it's to the point where it's like, yo, we need new music. We need you to come back. We need this. We need that. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So I'm working on some stuff. I got some songs lined up that are pretty good. But I'm also studying. I'm studying the game and how it works now. How you market. How do I get it in people's ears? You know, the equivalents that I had 15 years ago, because it's not the same. It's not like, yo, here's my CD. It's like, we don't even got CDs in our laptops or cards anymore. So, you know, just learning the game and stuff. But I just wrapped up a record today and then another one yesterday. I got some decent records that I like. I got a few surprises and stuff. But yeah, it'd be cool to get some big features, but I'm not even worried about those at the moment either.
You're just worried about working right now, putting in the work.
I just want to put a project out that I'm satisfied with, like, for me. Not for anybody else, not for anything else, like, just for me. I don't even care if it goes anywhere. It's just I'm doing it just to do it. And
Okay.
with people that I want to do it with. And it's going good, and I think it's gonna be cool, and a lot of people are gonna be happy because a lot of people do like, yo, we missed this, we need that, and I'm like, okay, I got you. Shout out Rachel, she's always asking me, when are you gonna drop some new songs? A lot of people ask me honestly, but yeah, it's coming soon.
How did it feel when you got back on stage after not performing for so long? Like, what was that feeling like? Was it nostalgic?
It wasn't nostalgic, it was refreshing. Because when I came back, I used the auto-tune mic this time. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to shake shit up. I wanna try to use the auto-tune mic. So I remember we were at Smokehouse in Lowell, and this time I took the songs off. It's literally just beat. And I had an auto-tune guy and I had a DJ. Shout out Jeff, shout out Styles, DJ Blackout and Styles. And, yo, we did it. And I remember there was another DJ there and he's like filming. He was like the guy DJing before we got there. And he's filming and I hear him go, oh shit, I can actually hear Nawlage singing for once. Because usually I used to have a song in the background. And so it was refreshing because it's like, I feel like I don't care in a good way. Like, I'm not worried about some of the things that you didn't have to worry about. And I was just, like, comfortable. I was just comfortable. I'm doing it with people that I wanted to do it with. I'm doing it how I wanted to do it. And it was cool. And what was cool is, I don't know if it's cool. It's kind of weird. But when people come up to me and they're like, yo, my mom loves your music. You know, she was supposed to be here, but, you know, blah, blah, blah. And they're like 18. You know, and I'm just like, damn, it's been that long. Like, you grew up. Like,
Yeah. And it's crazy because you still feel like You probably still feel like that same person, right?
Yeah, and a lot of people come up to me like, yo, you're the reason why we made this child over here. And I'm just like, oh, well, geez.
That's hilarious.
You meet a lot of cool people and stuff like that, and it's cool. I struggled with accepting that for the longest. I was kind of like, oh, I don't care, blah blah blah. But I remember I was in Florida. This dude, I wasn't even telling people I was an artist. I was just telling them more I produce and I help you with marketing and stuff. But I still went by knowledge. And this guy that I'm going to sell beats to, he worked at a restaurant or something. He was like the manager. And he called me. He's like, bro, are you here? I'm like, yeah. He's like, this dude's being weird. And I'm like, what you mean? He's like, this dude's over here crying, talking about he wants to meet you, bro. And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, fuck. He's like, were you a singer or something? I'm like, yeah, bro, that's me. I'm like, is he from New York? or Mass? He's like, yeah. How you know? And I was like, yeah. Tell him I'll be there in like 5 minutes. So I get there, the dude comes out, and he starts crying. And he gives me a hug. I hug him. And it's like, he's like, yo, bro, I love you. You represent my brother. Like, before his brother died, I don't know if it was the night before. I don't remember his name either. Shout out to him. Him and his brother used to chill with girls and jam out to my music. So his last memory of his brother is spending a night together, jamming out to my songs with girls.
That's powerful.
Chilling. So when he saw me in person, he was kind of like, I feel like my brother's alive right now.
That's crazy.
And that was deep. That was like, I'm like, damn, that knowledge stuff was like, you know, it was a lot bigger than I thought it was. And I'm here, and at this time, I'm over here trying to get rid of knowledge and stuff. And that was right before Cardi B had posted her stuff, which when she did that, that was like the last, you know what, let me just unblock my page and just kind of exist a little bit.
You know what's crazy? I have one memory of you, literally one face-to-face interaction. It was in Denny's. I was like 18 years old. I seen you there, right? And they didn't want to serve you. You're like, I'll pay double. And they were like, no, we're not getting it. I'll pay triple. Like, no, we're not getting it. You're like, I'll pay quadruple right now. And they were still like, no. And then you ended up leaving or whatever. But it's just funny because fast forward like 7-8 years later, we're here in the studio. You're wearing white pants, a white jacket, and you have some like fly ass shoes on. It was like shiny shoes. Yeah. And it's just crazy. That memory is so vivid in my mind, like till this day. And that was the only memory I had of you face to face. Do you remember that day?
I only remember the white pants. I remember we were going to Disney's house in North Andover. Oh man, that's crazy.
Denny's was a spot though.
Yeah, it was.
Everybody went to Denny's.
Jeez.
But okay, on another note though.
That's funny.
On another note though, you're in Lawrence, like you come here to do shows. You obviously don't reside here. But is there any up and coming artists that you see that are popping off, that have some buzz, that you see promising?
Yeah, my absolute favorite up and coming artist is Isha. Isha is just...
Shout out to Isha, man.
Yeah, she's lit. She's cool.
She's the shit.
She's humble. She's very likable. She loves her fans, support her. She works hard. She makes no excuses. Like, she checks off all the boxes that I feel like you have to check off to be a successful artist. I like her.
Be a superstar.
T's moving with Drippy. They're making a lot of moves behind the scenes. They're about to start popping up more. Aside from that, I'm really not. I don't know what's really else is going on because I don't really see much more. But also, shout out to Pusha Preem. He's in Florida. He's making a lot of moves. There's this kid Johnny Badluck in Albuquerque. He's also making a lot of moves. But yeah, no, Lawrence got a lot of talent. The thing is, Lawrence, there's so much talent in Lawrence. There's like so many people that are talented that I'm probably not mentioning. But like, for you to stick out, you gotta like
do something.
I gotta see you like, okay, you did a show, you did that, you put out an album, you did this, this person brought you up, this person, and yeah. So definitely Isha for sure.
Okay. That's dope because we actually had Isha. I have 2 interviews with Isha. I have one that I did like a year and a half, 2 years ago. Then I have one that I had my creative director Ashley do. So both dope interviews. And it's crazy because you can see the growth. One, she's 19, 18 years old with a whole bunch of hair. And the second one, our hair's cut off. She's a mother. Like she's at a whole completely different stage of her life. And it's like you see the growth. Just dropped the album. I think it was 5K streams or 15K streams in the first week. Crazy shit off the strength, no ads, organic. So shout out to Isha. We're rooting for you, always rooting for you. You're the shit. You're a superstar. Okay, so let's go into your name, Nawlage 2K5. Does 2K5 stand for 2005?
Yes.
Or does it stand for something else?
The year my daughter was born.
Okay.
2K5, yeah.
The year your daughter, and what does and where does knowledge come from?
Knowledge came from the chat line. You've got the Boston donut. If you know, you know. I used to, oh man. My first rap name was Flame. And my boy was Lighter, and our group name was HM, Hot Materials. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I used to be a battle rapper. And this dude, I beat him. The same guy that I said the thing about the girl that the 30 dude showed up in my crib, he almost won that battle because he was flaming my name Flame. Mm-hmm. And I remember going home and I was like, I gotta change my name. I need a new name. And I look at my cassette player thing. It was supposed to say video, but the VI was faded. So it said Dio, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna call myself Dio. So when I met some girls at a party, they're like, oh, what does Dio stand for? What's the story behind it? And I'm like, I can't tell that story. I need a new name. Like, what the hell? So before that, I used to go on the chat line, and there was, I don't even know who they are. There was a guy called Gambino, someone Luciani, somebody else. They all had cool names, and I was kind of a part of the clique, but I was just like a shy, quiet kid. I used to say my name was John Bonds because I like John Stockton and Barry Bonds. Mm-hmm. I'm like, yeah, my name's John Bonds. I used to lie about my height and my age and stuff. But they said that any conversation we had, I'd always say something useful or something smart or something knowledgeable. So they're like, we can't keep calling you John, bro. Like, you need a cool name. And we're like, we're going to call you Knowledge. So when I had looked at when the girl's like, what does DO stand for? Where'd that come from? I'm like, oh, I got to change my name. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to call myself Knowledge. But I'm going to spell it with an N and an A because I don't like the K-N-O-W. Like, I don't like how I wrote the K. So I spelled it with the N-A-W. But yeah, that's where it came from. It's nothing crazy.
That's pretty cool. And you say your daughter was born in 2005?
Yep.
So it's a year that commemorates your daughter's birth. Okay.
That year was a crazy year. I moved to Florida. We used to do Club 125, me and Styles. I was doing rap stuff. It motivated me because she was born in January. So that like motivated me to like really push with the music stuff. And it's just, I don't know. Because in 04, I used to say 2K4, 2K3, whatever. But when I said 2K5, it just, when 06 came, I didn't want to change it. And I'm like still saying 2K5, but it's 06. Like, I didn't care. At that point, I didn't care. And then it just stuck. And people started saying, Knowledge. For those of y'all who don't know, I go by the name of Knowledge. 2K5! And it's 2008, 9. So I'm like, yeah, that's thing, bro. These people don't care.
Yeah, and it's catchy now.
It is.
Like, when I think of Knowledge, the first thing I think of is 2K5.
Someone asked me, is it because you're good at NBA 2K? But I used to be back in the days. Shoot.
Okay. So when you sit back, Knowledge, and you think about your life in 5 years, right? 5 to 10 years, and you're thinking to yourself, I made it. What does that look like to you?
That's a tough question for me personally. I would say like it's just, to be honest, I gotta lose weight. If I'm being serious, I have to lose weight because my mom, my dad, they're like, my dad was like, I used to be a track star cross country. We used to ride bikes 30 miles, 50 miles. So like, they're so used to young and shape, skinny me. And it's like, I don't want one of them to die and they didn't get to see me more healthier as an adult. So I feel like honestly that is like right now we're talking about for me personally is that it's just to be healthier and stuff and I'm working on all that. That's why I started with my mental health and shit because that was like a big part of the reason why I even started gaining weight and stuff. But yeah, for me personally, if I get to a weight where my mom can look at me and be like not troll me for being fat, that'd be cool.
That'd be an idea of making it though.
Yeah.
5 to 10 years?
For me, yeah.
For you?
Yeah, just personally for me, because it's like, I made my mom happy, I made my dad happy. It's like, I already made them happy on many levels, you know, but it's like, I know this is one big hurdle that like, if my mom was on her deathbed right now, she tells me all the time, she's like, I'm going to be like worried that you're going to die tomorrow. I don't want to worry about that. Like, just like, so yeah, so for me personally, that's it. That's it. It's like,
in regards to your music career.
Oh, you're saying music. My bad. Can I get a mulligan? You didn't say music career, so I'm like...
Nah, that was a dope answer, though.
Oh, now if we're talking music career, okay, like, I just need to do one thing, and I'm just... And that one thing right now, I just want one song to get as hot as my old songs got right now. Because a lot of people think that I can't do it. And it's like, okay, you think I can? It's like, okay, cool. I'm not doing it for you because they've been telling me for the last 10 years that I can't do it. I just didn't want to do it, so that's why I haven't put the work in to do it. So, yeah, if I get one song a little relevant and stuff, I'm satisfied with that. But I would definitely do more than that. I don't like to set the bars too high. I feel like some people set the bars too high. I set the bar low and then I just destroy that bar.
Okay, so you stack up your little wins and they become bigger wins. That's what we're talking about. Yeah,
some people, like, again, this is what I said with being realistic. Like back in the days with SoundCloud, I'm like, all right, I need 10 downloads. All right, I need 25 downloads. I need 50 downloads. I need 75 downloads. I need 5 more downloads to get 100. I need this many downloads. And before you know it, I'm not doing anything and I'm getting 5,000 downloads instantly.
So what you're doing is essentially you're stacking up your confidence. That's what you're doing. You don't think about it in that way.
Yeah, I guess.
You're stacking those little wins turn into confidence.
Yeah, it's like momentum builders. Yeah.
Okay, and that's
I never looked at it like that. That's yeah.
Yeah, you're stacking up your confidence because you gain confidence by the small wins that you get. And if you don't set them too high, then you're stacking along the way.
Yeah, I just understand the importance of paying attention to the small detail and accomplishing that. And it goes back to what my dad said with the BB gun. Had I paid attention to the first 2-3 BBs that all landed in the same spot, that little detail would have told me, all right, let's make an adjustment. So, you know, once you figure out the little thing, then the next little thing, then before you know it, you took 20,000 little steps and you're huge and successful.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't like to go too big with my dreams.
And before we finish this episode, I want you to talk about, I know we briefly touched upon it earlier, but talk about the drop that Drippy made you do for me. When you first heard him say, do a drop for BASTIENDRIP. So what was your thought process?
Well, every time people send me drops, there's always one that I'm just like, DJ Microphone 1260? What kind of name is that, bro? Like, how am I supposed to say that? So you know why though? Because DJ Microphone 1260 is close by. Like, how am I supposed to say something? So from the list he gave me, I'm like, bro, are you making these names up? What the hell? BASTIENDRIP? Like, what? Like, because he didn't put DJ. So I'm like,
that's my man right there.
I'm like, bro,
I need you to come in the camera real quick.
I'm like, is this a DJ?
Come, bro. Come.
I'm like, is this a DJ or...
Say what's up to the viewers, man.
What up? We working.
My man Drippy, TTE Entertainment, man.
You know we working, man.
So I'm like, is this? Did you forget to put DJ or Bastion? Is this you, Drippy, Drip, or what? I don't know. And here we are.
And now we're here. It's crazy. That was about a year later. So at the end of the day, it's BASTIENDRIP, the flyest in the city, aka the young intellectual.
I'm supposed to call you.
No. You gotta just do your closing.
Oh,
right,
I didn't even know we were closing. Nah, keep it. Don't cut that. Knowledge 2K5. I like it raw, baby.
Here we go.